Jungkook refuses to acknowledge Jeon and V's handsomeness. Is this the most intense, humble war ever inside BTS, or a carefully played psychological game? What if the loudest statement inside BTS right now is not made through music, fashion, or even world stages, but through a refusal to agree? What if a simple, "I can't accept it," becomes the most telling confession of confidence, power, and unspoken hierarchy inside the world's biggest group? And what if Jungkook's playful denial of Jeon and V's visuals is not humility at all, but a silent visual duel that only BTS could turn into global conversation? In December 2025, a 41-second clip detonated across social media with the force of a full comeback teaser. It did not feature choreography, teasers, or dramatic lighting. Instead, it showed three men sitting casually in a dark room, laughing, deflecting compliments, and doing what BTS has always done best, turning intimacy into spectacle. The clip, uploaded by fan account at Bangtanharu on X, instantly went viral, collecting millions of views and tens of millions of likes in a matter of hours. Yet what stunned fans was not the praise itself, but Jungkook's refusal to accept it. This is not just a cute moment. This is not just fan service. And ARMY knows IT. The center of the clip were Jeon, V, and Jungkook, three members whose visuals have long shaped the global image of BTS. V, calm and confident, declared Jeon as BTS's official handsome guy. Jeon, as expected, deflected with grace, pushing the praise back toward the younger members. Then came Jungkook's response, delivered with laughter and exaggerated gestures, yet landing with unexpected weight. "No. Both of you are so handsome that I can't accept it. I can't acknowledge it." Why couldn't he acknowledge it? Why didn't he simply laugh it off and agree? Why did that single line ignite debates about ego, awareness, visual hierarchy, and what fans are now calling the most intense, humble war in BTS history? Because when Jungkook speaks, even in jest, nothing is accidental. Understand why this moment feels different. We must understand who Jungkook is within BTS. As the youngest member, he has long carried the title of the Golden Magne, a label that has followed him from adolescence into global superstardom. Vocally dominant, physically commanding, visually magnetic, and increasingly self-directed, Jungkook occupies a rare position. He is both the group's baby and one of its most undeniable centers. Yet unlike traditional idols who lean into that power, Jungkook often disguises it behind humor, self-deprecation, and playful denial. Fans have seen this pattern before, but never quite like this. And the clip, V, Kim Taehyung, speaks first, calmly asserting that Jeon is the visual most likely to win any vote. The confidence in his voice is not teasing. It sounds certain, almost declarative. Jeon, Kim Seokjin, responds exactly as fans expect, laughing it off and redirecting the compliment. This is classic Jeon, self-aware, playful, but never self-centered. Then Jungkook, steps in, not to accept or redirect, but to reject. He doesn't say, "You're wrong." He doesn't say, "I'm not handsome." Instead, he says something far more revealing, that he cannot accept their handsomeness. Linguistically, this is fascinating. Psychologically, it is explosive. ARMY immediately sensed that something deeper was happening. Across X, fans began dissecting the moment frame by frame, tone by tone, expression by expression. Was Jungkook embarrassed? Was he teasing? Or was this, as many fans now argue, a subtle acknowledgement of power dynamics, a quiet assertion that he knows exactly where he stands? The term, humble war, began trending within hours. Not a war of insults or rivalry, but a war of refusal. A war where compliments are weapons and denial is strategy. A war where every member is fully aware of their global standing, yet chooses to play a game of deflection so refined that only BTS could pull it off without shattering harmony. This is where the moment transcends cuteness and enters the realm of narrative. BTS has always thrived on paradox. They are 7 individuals who constantly dissolve into one identity. They are global megastars who insist on humility. They are men who command stadiums yet blush at praise. But the post-military era has sharpened these contrasts. With Jeon already discharged in June 2024 and J-Hope following in October 2024, and the remaining members, including Jungkook, V, RM, Jimin, and Suga, scheduled to return in 2025, every public interaction now feels like a prelude to something bigger. This clip did not appear in a vacuum. It arrived at a moment when fans are hyper-aware, emotionally charged, and hungry for signs of reunion. In that context, even a joke becomes a signal. The setting itself matters. The dark background, the relaxed posture, the Wever-style intimacy marked by the W logo in the corner. This was not a polished broadcast. This was BTS unfiltered. And when BTS is unfiltered, fans listen differently. Jungkook's denial also intersects with a long-standing conversation about visuals in BTS. Unlike many K-pop groups, BTS has never officially assigned a visual position, yet the discourse persists. Jeon is often praised in Korea for his classic, actor-like features and has repeatedly ranked high on variety shows like Please Take Care of My Refrigerator. V is internationally celebrated for his unique, almost surreal beauty, frequently topping global most handsome lists. Jungkook, meanwhile, has evolved from boy-next-door charm into something far more commanding, blending masculinity, vulnerability, and stage presence in a way that resonates across cultures. When Jungkook says he cannot acknowledge their handsomeness, fans hear subtext. They hear a man who knows that comparisons are inevitable, who understands the global gaze on his face, and who chooses humor as armor. This is not insecurity. This is control. ARMY reactions reflected this interpretation almost immediately. Comments flooded in, calling the trio a visual trio aggressively complimenting each other, while others joked that they were confessing love without saying love. Indonesian fans, one of the largest ARMY bases in the world, amplified the moment with emotional commentary, calling it heart-melting and nostalgic. For many, this clip reopened memories of earlier eras when BTS's chemistry felt like the core of their magic. Yet beneath the laughter, a question lingered. Why did this moment feel so intense? Perhaps because it revealed something BTS rarely articulates directly, that they are fully aware of how the world sees them. They know their power. They know their impact. And instead of denying it outright, they play with it. Jungkook's line about there being many people more handsome above him, delivered with reference to Jin's frequent high rankings, adds another layer. On the surface, it sounds like humility. But humility from someone who has spent years topping charts, breaking records, and redefining male idol imagery hits differently. It becomes performative humility, a conscious choice rather than a reflex. This is where the humble war theory gains traction. Fans argue that this is not about who is more handsome, but about how each member navigates praise without destabilizing group balance. In BTS, ego is managed collectively. No one member is allowed to dominate the narrative unchecked, not because they lack confidence, but because their strength lies in equilibrium. Jungkook's refusal, then, becomes an act of loyalty. IT protects Jeon from appearing self-centered. It supports V's statement without overshadowing it, and it maintains Jungkook's own image as approachable, grounded, and playful. Everyone wins, yet no one claims victory. This delicate dance is why BTS has endured where others have fractured. The virality of the clip, over 3.6 million views and more than 64 million likes, confirms that fans are not just consuming content, they are decoding it. In an era of overexposure, BTS's smallest moments carry the greatest weight because they feel earned, unscripted, and emotionally honest, and perhaps that is the biggest surprise of all. In a world obsessed with spectacle, it was a refusal that stole the spotlight. As speculation about a full BTS comeback grows louder, moments like this take on prophetic quality. They remind fans why BTS matters beyond music charts and award shows. They show a group that has matured without losing its core, that has endured separation without losing intimacy. Was Jungkook really refusing to acknowledge Jeon and V's handsomeness? Or was he, in his own way, acknowledging something much bigger? That within BTS, confidence does not need to be declared, dominance does not need to be proven, and the strongest statements are often the ones left unsaid. The question now is not who is the most handsome in BTS. The question is why a simple joke still has the power to shake the fandom, dominate timelines, and reignite emotional investment worldwide. And perhaps the most unsettling question of all remains unanswered. If this is the energy BTS radiates before a full reunion, what happens when they finally stand together on stage again? ARMY is watching. And this time, even silence speaks volumes, and that is where the story refuses to end, because for BTS, moments like this never truly conclude. They echo, they linger, and they grow louder precisely because nothing is resolved out loud. What makes Jungkook's response linger in the collective mind of ARMY is not the words themselves, but the timing. This was not 2016 Jungkook, still adjusting to fame. This was not 2019 Jungkook, learning how to carry global attention. This was post-solo era Jungkook, post-record-breaking releases, post-global headlines, post-military enlistment looming over every interaction. Every sentence now carries the weight of experience, and fans know it. That is why the humble war theory refuses to fade. Fans argue that humility inside BTS is no longer instinctive. It is strategic. Not manipulative, not artificial, but deeply conscious. Each member understands that the group's longevity depends on balance, and balance requires restraint. Jungkook's refusal, then, becomes restraint disguised as comedy, and comedy has always been Jungkook's shield. Throughout BTS's career, Jungkook has often used laughter to redirect attention. When praised, he deflects. When singled out, he jokes. When framed as the center, he pulls the spotlight back toward the group. But in this clip, the deflection feels sharper, more deliberate. His wording, "I can't accept it," is not denial of their beauty. It is denial of comparison itself. ARMY picked up on this immediately. Many fans pointed out that Jungkook did not say Jeon or V were not handsome. On the contrary, he emphasized that they were too handsome. The refusal, then, is not about disagreement. It is about refusing to participate in a hierarchy. In a fandom that constantly ranks, votes, compares, and debates visuals, Jungkook's line feels like a quiet rebellion, and yet, paradoxically, it fueled the debate even more. Social media analysis of the clip revealed how deeply invested fans are in micro-moments. Screenshots of Jungkook's facial expressions circulated widely: his smile, the slight shake of his head, the playful hand gestures. Fans debated whether his eyes showed embarrassment, confidence, or mischief. Some argued that he looked fully aware of the chaos he was causing. Others believed he was genuinely overwhelmed by praise from members he deeply respects. This ambiguity is precisely why the moment exploded. In modern pop culture, ambiguity is currency. And BTS trades in it effortlessly. The setting also adds to the intrigue. The dark background, the absence of stylists and stage lights, the casual seating, all of it strips away the idle facade. What remains are three men who have shared dorms, exhaustion, success, and separation. In that context, a compliment is not just a compliment. It is history speaking. Fans also connected the moment to Jin's post-military aura. Since completing his service in June 2024, Jeon has carried a new kind of confidence, calmer, more grounded, quietly commanding. His refusal of praise in the clip feels less like self-doubt and more like leadership. He does not need to claim the title of official handsome guy because he no longer needs validation. That shift does not go unnoticed. V's role is equally important. His statement is direct, almost objective. There is no teasing tone, no exaggerated humor. It sounds like a conclusion rather than an opinion. Fans interpreted this as V stepping into a more assertive space within the group, comfortable enough to define, not just react. And then there is Jungkook, positioned between them both literally and symbolically. The youngest, yet often the emotional anchor. The one who bridges playfulness and intensity. His refusal becomes the tension point where all these energies collide. This is why fans describe the exchange as aggressively affectionate. Compliments are thrown not to elevate oneself, but to corner the other into accepting admiration. It is intimacy weaponized for humor, trust, and bonding. Only a group with deep emotional safety can pull this off without discomfort. Indonesian Army, in particular, amplified this reading. Many fans from Indonesia described the clip as quietly emotional, noting how it reminded them of early BTS lives.